Shall we begin?
You are now listening to an altogether less fashionable variety of soccer podcast. Broadcasting live from the capital city of Columbus, Ohio. Welcome to
ACES Radio.
I got the new wings with the Zima flavor sauce.
I've given this no thought whatsoever.
Hashtag probably riding cock.
They're in your face. They're a little different. I think it's super cool. I love them. Jamie, ignorant slut.
Hold on to your butts.
Now, here are your hosts.
Not Morgan Hughes. Rest.
John Zadar. And Darby Snarpus.
Welcome back, edgelords, bezlords, and shitlords. We are returning for another episode of ACES Radio. This is what, week 3 of the quarantine edition, I believe, Darby?
John, time and numbers have ceased to have any sort of meaning any longer. This could be week 3. It could be week 72. It could be week blue. It could be week gargle fuck. Who knows?
It is starting to feel a little bit like I'm living in the Matrix, but I'm aware of it. You know, like, like I know I'm in a program that won't let me leave my house, but I can't. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yes, every morning you wake up in a vat of biosustaining goo with a wire plugged into the back of your neck. Yeah, that's basically describing what's happening.
That honestly sounds like a better way than I wake up now, which is just covered in sweat and alone. But
same, bruh. Same.
Oh, poor Bront and I. We are sequestered in our houses by ourselves. But at least you have the company of another human, Darby.
I do, and a cat who has recently taken to be really vocal. I don't know if she's just figured out that since we're home all the time, she can constantly beg for food. But wow, it's really something. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go work with my headphones on, so if you need to get my attention, message me, because I have this thing cranked up to block the cat out.
Oh my god. Maybe she's just like screaming at you guys to go the fuck away. Yes. She's like, why are you here all the time now? I hate this.
You're in my house. I go into a room to poop and someone's there. I go into a room to eat, someone's there.
Yeah.
God.
How do you expect me to lick my butthole on the counter if you're here to stop me?
Right. Normally right now I would be walking all over your allegedly clean surfaces.
Right. Yeah. Spreading all of my delicious fecal bacteria from the litter box. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my cat is a fairly vocal cat as well. She's been that way since before this started though, but now that I'm here all day every day, I too am hearing the screaming. So Bront, do you have any pets? Or are you a single living being alone in a house?
No pets. Not paying the extra fees for that.
You
Bront,
need
you're so thrifty.
Get one of those Gigapet things, man. You need something to.
What the actual fuck is that?
Yeah, what is a Gigapet?
Isn't it like, wasn't that the generic name for the Tamagotchi things?
Oh, okay. I don't know. I had a real Tamagotchi, but
it was like the GoBot to the Transformers of the Tamagotchi.
Bro, maybe you just need to play a lot of Pokemans, as the champion would have called them.
I've never played the Pokemans, so I don't really know how to do that.
I'm starting to think that you don't like do things or like stuff. So like what when you're not working or eating dinner at 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon, what are you doing?
I watch like an episode of The Office, and then I go to bed.
You go to bed early. I saw your tweet just before I got on here. Let's do a check-in with you. How are things as an essential worker? You're out there. You're on the front lines. You're battling against people with weird things on their faces at grocery stores that don't actually protect them. How is that faring for you?
It's all right. I've noticed that, like, I don't know if you guys saw my tweet the other day, so let me put this PSA out there. If you have COVID symptoms, don't show up to the goddamn grocery store and expect their pharmacy to give you a test for coronavirus. It's not how this works. But apparently that's becoming such a common thing that some of the stores have even started to put signs up outside. So that's great.
Yep. I literally was just at the pharmacy right before we started recording this, and there was a sign there that said, "We cannot assist you if you have COVID symptoms. Please contact your doctor."
Yeah, Bront, let me ask you, if I can't get a test at the pharmacy, will they give me a test in the produce section?
They'll test you in the produce section, but you're probably not going to enjoy that, Drabs.
Yeah, that test they do in the produce section with the cucumber is a different test.
You know, it's weird. I thought it was a little odd that not only did I not have to pay for the test, but that old man was willing to pay me quite a large amount of money to conduct it.
Oh my God. Ew, so gross.
Did you see what he did with the cucumber when he was done?
No, I blacked out for a while, so I have no idea what happened.
That's the worst question, because if the answer is literally anything other than thrown it away, it's like going to be vomit inducing. Oh my God. So, well, how are things other than idiots showing up at the pharmacy, Brent? Are you still working overtime and busting your ass out there to bring the goods to the people?
Absolutely. The world does not stop without its sugary caffeine juice.
That's great. That's great. Well, so I feel like this would be a good segue here into one of the only things we have to talk about this week, which is apparently this crew step challenge. I feel like you, being a lad who's out working, is going to be logging a lot of steps. Are you participating in this thing? And then, Darby, once we have Brett's answer, why don't you break down the details of what this is?
I am participating. I am on Team Dante.
Oh, okay. All right. And so Darby, what's the situation with this competition? I know it has something to do with walking. Why don't you go into the details of it? Or not. That's great. You could just stay muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, technology is really hard. So I pulled up the website. I did not sign up this thing because I'm a lazy son of a bitch. But basically, the crew has created a challenge to keep everybody active out there. It says for 30 days, each participant will be asked to stay active and track their steps daily. Each team will be assigned a coach, which is a Crew SC player or coaching staff, and a team captain, who is a front office member. It says be sure to share your progress on social media, and the winning team will be announced on May 9th with an awarded prize. Ooh. So for 30 days, you basically check in. Looks like they've got a little sheet where you put your step goal and your results. If you would like to know more details about the rules and how winners will be determined, John, you can go fuck yourself, because there's nothing here that indicates any of that.
Yeah, I thought that the details regarding this were a bit slim, and I went to sign up for it, but I didn't hear about it until yesterday afternoon, which was apparently already too late to sign up. So I don't know when they started announcing stuff about this, but I must have missed it all.
Yeah. Today was apparently the first day of things. So while there's not an official list out there, I think I was able to curate a list of all of the coaches that are available to the teams.
Okay.
So we had Clive Brewer, who is the newish director of high performance.
That was Clive Brewer. Okay, you just cut out briefly when you said the name.
Yeah, sorry, Clive Brewer.
No, you're good.
We have Federico Pizzuto, who's a fitness coach. Everybody's favorite, Kelly Roderick, the assistant strength and conditioning coach, who's also doing all the weekly workout videos.
Nice.
You have Sebastian Berhalter, midfielder for the team. Aiden Morris, also midfielder for the team. Forward Miguel Berry, so a couple of the new guys in there. Mm-hmm. Jason Luthi, who is apparently an academy player for the Crew.
Okay.
And then rounding out the list that I could see are Crew listed as Crew alumni Frankie Haydock and Dante Washington.
Interesting. That's a good mix there of like current, former players, staff, coaches, academy guy. That's nice.
Yeah.
So what do the coaches do? Is this like a situation where they're like going to send you in like personalized messages of like, keep it up, blah, blah, blah?
I don't know. Brent, did you get anything related to this? Like, did they send you an email or anything to start things off?
So the team sent an email the other day with like what team you were on, who the team captain was, because there's a coach and a captain on each team. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know if they have a role.
So who are your two people again?
Dante Washington is the coach, and then Elise Tchaikovsky or Tchaikovsky.
Okay.
I don't remember. She's a front office staff person.
Okay.
Is the team captain. I got an email from Dante introducing himself and talking about his role within the club, and then saying, I hope you want to win because I want to win. That's pretty much it.
Did you email him back and say, Dante, this is the worst coaching I've ever experienced in my entire life? How dare you, Dante?
Not.
Come on.
I've never been less inspired to walk, Dante.
He should have just sent a picture of himself shirtless and been like, after 30 days, you can look like this.
After 31 days, you get to lick it. If we win. Okay, so and that was it. And the challenge is literally just to walk as much as you can. And what check do you have to like submit? Is this just honor based? I assume.
No. So the team suggested several tracking apps that counts your steps for you.
Okay.
And then once you have to screenshot your step count every day, and then once a week you have to submit all your screenshots.
Oh my! Wow. Okay. So they're really taking it seriously and making sure there's no cheating or anything going on.
Apparently.
Even though you could literally just sit at home with your phone strapped to your wrist and masturbate for 8 hours and probably get like the same, like way crazy more steps than you would if you really walked. Which I assume is kind of what we're all already doing, given that we have nothing else to do and we're stuck in our homes. But okay, what's that, Darby?
I was just gonna say my right arm is in peak physical condition right now, so I can definitely confirm that that's a thing.
You're in play. Your masturbation game's in playoff form right now.
Yeah, I'm registering for next year's Arnold Classic in the one-handed bench press competition.
Oh my god! If anyone wants to produce some fan art of that idea, please go right ahead and send that over to us at acesradiopodcast@gmail.com. Okay, well this is interesting. We'll have to track it and check in with you on a weekly basis then, Brent, and we'll get you to share your steps, and maybe we'll do a recap if they're gonna do. It sounds like they gave us pretty limited information, but I would assume that they'll provide updated standings of the team's positions as the month progresses. But we could read those if they do that.
Yeah, I would hope they're going to do that. I don't want to like wait a month and have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, it's not like they've got anything else going on right now. So interesting. Okay, well that'll be fun. Maybe it's too bad that we didn't get in ahead of this and we could each be on different teams, but Brent will just have to be the ACES ambassador for this competition. So if you guys want to get out there and beat Brent at yet another thing, there you go.
Brent, I would like you to share your personal steps on Twitter every week. And, we laugh, but the reality, Brent and I were talking about this earlier. The dude already puts in like 10 or 12,000 steps a day just for his job.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Brent's team is like at an advantage here because he's already going to be out there crushing it. He doesn't have to like motivate himself to get out of the house and walk. He's already going to be doing it.
Yeah.
You're probably like a top 1, 2, 3 round draft pick if this was the MLS Super Draft, Bront. Nope.
Well, I mean, the super draft doesn't really you don't find good players from that, so I'm not really sure how to take that.
Yeah.
It was a compliment and a roast at the same time. So
Yeah. The rights for Brent Miller have been acquired for $50 in game and 2 slightly deflated soccer balls.
Okay. Next up, we've got some recipes on here that we want to talk about, like some things that people have been making, food that you guys have been trying, new recipes or old favorites. Let's see. We've got who put this on here? Was it you or Brent, Darby?
That was me. Just another thing I was gonna point out as content that the team has been doing is that the team dietitian has been putting some recipes out there as well.
Ooh, I haven't seen those. I must have missed those.
Yeah, I think I might have seen a tweet for the one about the strawberry banana smoothie, but I was on their website and found the chicken stir fry recipe today. So, again, staying in that same mold of trying to find things that people can make that are healthy and not just, frozen, pre-prepared stuff that sometimes it gets easy to rely on. This is coming from, like a certified dietitian health person. So, that they actually have a good background to be providing this sort of stuff. So I think it's kind of nice. I also saw they've got, they've got like players reading kids books in YouTube videos, just as something to keep the little ones entertained. I think Frankie reading Where the Wild Things Are is maybe the most appropriate pairing that has ever been devised.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're apart from, I realize that they're doing like replaying old games and trying to get people excited about that, but this is kind of a nice opportunity for them to engage people in a lot of different ways that's maybe a little more meaningful than we would have gotten otherwise.
Yeah, that's nice. I saw there was a new video from Jordan breaking down more game film from the Seattle match, so that was nice. But yeah, I think they've been doing a pretty good job of putting out those new this new content in this wake of the pandemic sweeping the nation, and with sports being like I don't know, I think kind of over for the year for the most part. So another thing I did see while we're talking about it is that there's supposed to be a what is it, like a, I don't know what you want to refer to it as, like a concert of sorts on the crew Instagram. I think it's tomorrow at 6 with DJ ACES, who does the DJ work for actual home games. So that'll be pretty cool if you want to turn into that and hear some tunes, maybe throw it on while you're making dinner tomorrow night. But check that out. Anything else that the team has been doing or has coming up that you guys want to give a shout out to or mention specifically? I'll make sure that we're trying to retweet all these kinds of things through the ACES account too, so people can maybe find them a little more easily.
I think they have decided they're officially going to be doing esports games. I saw that Skeets McTaz is going to be playing the Orlando representative here in the near future. So, and I think they're just doing that on Twitch.
Okay. Is that like a substitution of like the games that we normally would have been playing right now? Like our standard schedule?
I don't know. Honestly, I haven't looked at the schedule for a while to see who we would be playing at this point. I mean, certainly
yes,
possible.
It is. I pulled it up. Saturday, April 11th was supposed to be our home game against Orlando. So it looks like they're going to do the EMLS kind of matchups, maybe to keep with the schedule. But so that'll be cool.
Yeah. And I don't know, what the format is going to look like. I think it would be nice if, of course, both players would actually use the rosters for the teams they're representing. I know sometimes with competitions, they're still, playing with an optimized roster, like doing Ultimate Team or something like that. But
yeah,
I think it makes more sense and be more fun if they're actually playing as the crew and Orlando.
Okay, here you go. I just pulled it up. So Columbus Crew SC's Graham Alex, which is Skeets McTaz, takes on Orlando City SC's FIFA Abe. Saturday, April 11th at 3:30 p.m. on the Crew SC's Twitch channel. 2-game aggregate score format. Let's see. And they will be playing with their respective MLS team rosters.
Oh, good.
So there you go. So yeah, so that will be pretty cool. That would be pretty fun. I'll probably tune in for that.
You say, was it 3:00? Is that what you said?
It says 3:30 right now.
3:30.
So,
Okay.
I don't know. It doesn't say anything about like if they're doing any sort of fun like pregame or if they're gonna have like casters like Neil Sika or something just for fun. But that might be a nice additional way to flesh these kinds of events out moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay, let me hop back over here, and then our last thing here for crew content was the Porter Q&A that went down. When was that? Was that Monday or Tuesday?
It was definitely a day that was this week or last week or possibly the week before, John.
Yeah, that's true. I think it was Blue Day, as you put it earlier. So I did not actually catch that, but I was seeing a lot of chatter about it on Twitter, so I think it was definitely a well-received piece of video content. What did you guys tune in either for the live or for the video on demand after the fact?
Brent, did you watch them? I basically scrolled past most of the snippets on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't see like a live feed, but I saw the team releasing all of the videos like a few minutes apart.
Oh, was that how they did it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I watched most of those.
Okay. So what was the response to the was it out of bounds question in regards to the 2015 MLS Cup?
He said that he's gotten this question several times before.
And he had kind of a half smirk during the interview.
There was a little bit of a smirk, and he said that no matter what he says, he can't win. But I'm here, and my goal is to win championships for Columbus. We're going to win championships for Columbus.
Okay, so a very political response.
Yeah, he said, like, I love Columbus. I'm here. I'm in 100%. I'm wearing a T-shirt right now that's the crew, which, of course, you are.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
What?
if you've been wearing your Timbers gear during that interview, that wouldn't have gone very well.
Yeah,
Coach.
the company currently paying you millions of dollars, you're wearing their T-shirt. I would never have guessed that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was pretty political, but also he did a good job of really emphasizing that, he's here for the team, but he 1,000% dodged the question, which means he obviously knows it was out.
Yeah. I would love to see...
How could you not know?
Well, ask the ref.
Well, at least one person in that stadium did not know.
He knew. There's no way he didn't know.
I wish that. I mean, Porter's not the kind of guy to do this. He seems pretty dry and like emotionless for the most part, unless he's like angry about something. But I would just love to see like some of those kinds of questions get like real, actual answers from these people. Sometimes it's a little lame when they just play like the politics of situations. So at least for me, but
yeah.
What are they going to do? Take away your championship ring?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So okay. Hopefully they'll keep doing more of those. I know that they did. I know that the league did that Crew Cincy replay, which they also had Mensa on as like a guest commentator. I didn't catch that either, but it seems like I think for the most part they're doing a pretty good job of keeping stuff churned out.
Yeah, I think actually they're making those videos potentially available on demand. I thought I saw a tweet that said you'd be able to go back and watch that game. Let me see if I can find a link on the website, because that would be cool if so, because they were showing the Cincinnati game at noon the other day.
Yeah,
which
it wasn't
is
great
not
timing.
necessarily very helpful. So let's see if I can find that link. But because I would definitely like to go back and watch and hear Mensa's commentary, obviously as a guy who played in the game. Like getting that kind of insight is a nice little perk.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's just interesting to hear their like play-by-play thoughts on any game situation, but especially one like that was so important and like monumental and just like all around fun. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I did find the article, and it looks like the video is still live if you want to watch it on the website. So we'll make a note there that we can tweet that out for people also. Okay. Any last comments on crew social media content or league social media content before we move on to this week's crew superlatives?
I don't know. So incidentally, as side talk for all the listeners out there, there was a note, I think, from last week's show notes at the very bottom where it says next week. Did you want to hit on those things this week? I assumed you wrote those, but I don't know.
Oh, I did write those. Yeah, we can chat about those real quick if you guys want to.
Sure.
I mean, I think I've been hearing in the last 2 days some things that are leading me to believe that we may not be getting sports back this year. And if we do, it's not going to be until late in the fall. So I am genuinely starting to very much believe that we are not going to have an MLS season this year. And so I did write that last week before I had started hearing these additional things that are just strengthening my belief. But, what do you guys think about that as a concept? And how much longer do you think is okay for us to be waiting for things like season ticket holder refunds and stuff like that when, people's wallets are already starting to tighten because of not working and things like that? And then also well, let's just touch on that, and then I'll hit this a second bullet point afterwards. But what do you guys think about the potential of the season actually full on being canceled? And are you wanting your money back, or have you started to think about that at all yet? Has it not crossed your mind? Brent, what do you think about that?
Brent knows all the MLS insiders, from what I understand. So
yeah, why don't you give us the hot latest news from Stuart Holden's Twitter account?
I'll kind of go back to the refund part of that. I think that last month I actually made my last payment on my payment plan for my season tickets for this season.
So you don't space it out across the whole year. You did like a 3-month?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Payment?
I only have the Nordeca ticket, so it's not that much.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm about halfway, maybe more than halfway. I think my last payment is scheduled to be in August.
Yeah, I think that's about where I am.
I might still have one or two more, but I think more than a refund, I'm not going to be too concerned about that right now. But maybe the team could stop processing new payments for a while.
Yeah.
Right now, since so many people are out of work, that more than maybe you don't even have to go as far as a refund. Just stop taking new payments.
Sure. Yeah, no, I think that's a fair middle ground there between continuing as is and issuing full refunds. I think that makes sense. I mean, we haven't played. When was the last time we played a game? March, whatever, that first game in March. I mean, we've only had 2 home games. So,
the 8th or the 15th.
Yeah, so has it been a whole month now of no play? I think it either has or we're very close.
Oh yeah, we're definitely at a month of no play at this point.
Yeah,
let's see. Yeah, because we only had 1 home game, and that was the home opener, March 1st.
Right.
The second game was an away game.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've only played 2 games.
Yeah, and it's been more than a month since we have seen a soccer game in person.
Yeah, so we've definitely had at least 1 withdrawal, potentially based on when your payments come in through the month. You might have had 2 since not just the last home game, but the last game period has been played. And I definitely think that if it isn't already feeling bad to customers and fans, is going to start feeling bad. Darby, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, So I know, you mentioned starting to hear indicators. I did see, I think it was Matt Pollard, who covers the Rapids, retweeted something, I think like a county health commissioner for San Jose. And that person was saying essentially they didn't think there would be any organized professional sports until Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And one thing that occurred to me is, Ohio right now is doing pretty well in terms of flattening the curve, which of course everybody keep doing what you're doing. Don't relax just because things are going relatively well here. But we're, as a country, when it comes to sports, we're going to have to honor the lowest common denominator in all of this. So MLS can't start until all of its home cities are clear to start.
Right.
So if a place like, just to say San Jose as an example, says, no, you can't have a game until November, that means San Jose can't play any home games until November.
Right.
And different cities and states may have different time, like maybe somebody's waiting until November, somebody's fine in September, somebody decides in July, who knows? But you have to wait for that last team to be clear before you can start. So, if some place is really bad off, and maybe it's a place like New York, since they've been struggling so much, none of us can really go, and none of us really should go until we're clear in all of the cities that have teams.
Yeah. I think that that's something that just shines a big light on how drastic of a failing it is by the federal government and the current administration of how they've dealt with this, because it's going to have impacts like this that we're just not even really considering yet. But the lack of a federal nationwide stay-at-home order, or any sort of just consistent rules or handling of things, has left it to each individual state, or in some cases cities, to deal with it on their own terms, which is putting everybody at different timelines and putting everyone in different places of management and recovery from this. And I just don't think that I really think that we're done with MLS for this year, and other sports as well. But yeah, right.
It may be we may we may get no more than a half season of home games at Mafre at this point. I know I saw one person had been planning to make a trip to see a game. I want to say in July. I think they were a journalist, and they were basically going to catch a game at Mafre before it, shuts down. And that person now isn't going to be able to do that. So yeah, assuming they stay on a good pace with building the new stadium, I don't think it'll really shift the timeline that much. It seems like they're still going full on with construction. We may have fewer games to appreciate our old home as it is.
Right.
But so circling back to the refund thing, because I realize I totally didn't actually talk about that.
That's all right.
I think it would be. I think they could maybe give a two-prong approach, assuming we lose the season. Some people obviously would want refunds, and I think that's a very fair perspective. I think they could also offer to roll those funds over against season tickets next year, and that could be a good way to help build some of the momentum going into the new stadium, because that's another thing they're going to be struggling with. They needed this year to kind of build up the hype going into the new stadium season next year, and this is going to be rough for them trying to fill a new stadium, because people are doing without sports and they're experiencing financial hardships. So it may be hard for people to continue doing season tickets. It may be tough for people who had be first timers next season to justify the expense. So if they can figure out how to do some sort of rollover for next season, that might at least help them somewhat in getting butts and seats there.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, I think you have to offer refunds just as an option for people. But I think if you have multiple choices there of what you can do with the money that you've invested in season tickets, if you can roll it over, or I don't know, if you're well off, maybe you are given the option to donate it to front office staff or something. I don't know what depends on how long this goes. But I think that multi-prong approach, like you're saying, is the right way to go. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're in quite a pickle here, and they were already taking on a pretty monumental task in rebuilding and strengthening a fan base that had been allowed to languish and kind of fall apart. And now this is only going to make it just all that much harder. So
yeah, I think another thing, if they could guarantee this would happen, I might also be okay with the concept of just paying out my season ticket fees this year, provided that money went towards supporting like match day staff.
Yeah.
Right. So if they could say we guarantee that 100% of the money from your season tickets this year will go to making sure that those people are being taken care of, that would be another context that I'd be okay with them hanging on to my money.
Yeah. But the billionaires can feel free to step up and just do that yourselves.
That's true. I definitely, I am fully supportive of really rich people not making all the rest of us, pay out all those paychecks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird to see like all the players and coaches from different teams. They're like saying, we'll take a pay cut if you divert it to these people. Like that just shouldn't be necessary.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, right? Like it's slightly less rich people taking a pay cut, so the super rich people don't have to pay the money out. It still feels bad. I still don't feel bad for those people, though. You're like asking me to cry for a millionaire instead of a billionaire.
I'm not asking you to cry for anybody. It feels weird like that. It just feels weird.
No, I get what you're saying, and I agree. I think it is weird and disappointing, and frankly, like should be like creating more outrage. That like time and time again, like it's even the lower level rich people that are needing to step up to make up the difference that like the uber rich are like just frankly unwilling to just do. It seems so.
The solution, as always, is to tax rich people at 90% and give everybody free healthcare and guaranteed minimum income. Right, Brent? Back to you.
What was it? I saw Spain is moving forward with implementing some sort of universal basic income because of all this. So, it's things like this that really force humanity's hand when it comes to progressive steps forward. So it'll be interesting to see things like that and how countries and communities respond. But I think we've waxed philosophically on the struggles of humanity in general. So let's move on to cruise superlatives for this week, which, Darby, I think you're the boss of this. Did you come up with this week's topic, or did you get this delivered to you via Twitter? What was the deal?
No, I came up with this. So when I was looking for the list of team coaches for this and putting it together, it's like, there's some stuff that makes sense here. You've got, of course, your various fitness related coaches. You got some players, but it occurred to me that like the players are like they're the young guys. It's the, hey, you're professionals now and you're required to do X number of events for the crew. So guess what? be a team captain. Jossie Zardes is not on the list of team captains that are available for this, which is fair because, I mean, they've got other stuff to do, right? So I was just thinking, though, it looking back then across the history of the team, like all the coaches, all the players, if you, John, were on a coach, or if you were on one of these Steps Challenges teams, who would you most want to be your coach? Like who would best motivate you in this regard?
Okay. I think this is a fun question. Are we picking one, or do you want to do like a top 3, or what are your thoughts?
We can do a top 3. We got time.
Okay, I've got a couple options here, and some are funny and some are serious. Well, I'll do one, and then we'll go around and we'll just do it round robin style. How's that work?
Sounds good.
Okay, so my first one I think is it's got to be Eric Gehrig. I want him to be my coach because I want a reason to be out there, and I want a reason to find him on the street and yell at him while he's jogging or running or walking or whatever he's doing. Okay, I'm just gonna go with the easy inside joke.
Okay. I'll go next, and I'll recycle a joke I made this morning. My first choice for a coach would be Connor Casey because I feel like I would actually outperform him, and maybe I would make him feel bad and make him put down the donut and take a couple steps himself.
I like it. Bront, who's your first one?
For the first one, I'll go with let's go with 3G, one of the greatest tactical minds to ever be a part of Columbus Crew. Tell us what's up. Tell us how to win this thing, bub.
He's going to give you all the hottest tips on how to walk fastest and most efficiently.
Here's how to get the most steps in this amount of space.
What you want to do, Brent, is you want to walk along the outside and then just keep smashing it into the middle over and over and over again, regardless of how efficient it is. That joke will land later. Okay, my second one would be Guillermo, but it would be like original first arrived Guillermo who speaks almost literally no English. I'm thinking like him from the old FIFA World Cup commercials where they're doing the celebration, the toot the boot guy. Like I want him like prancing behind me like with his boot over his mouth, like playing me a marching tune.
Nice. You get the high stepping action in there. I like it.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. Well, I'll say my second option would be Jairo Arrieta, because if there was ever a guy who took too many steps in his career, it was absolutely him. I feel like whatever step goal, what line was drawn in the sand, as it were, we would go screaming past it with him as our coach.
You'd always be one step ahead of the competition, that's for sure.
1 to 5 steps ahead of the competition.
Oh, man. Bront, what you got?
I think for my second choice, I would have to go with Frankie, but it's got to be like pre-game land grant hometown hero, like getting the crowd pumped Frankie.
Okay, so not player Frankie, like current Frankie, basically.
Yeah, current Frankie.
Okay. All right, I'm going to say for my last one, man, I didn't really have a third, I just had 2.
I'm scrolling through the all-time crew roster on Wikipedia right now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk slow, John. Shit.
Let's see. You know what I'm gonna pick? I'm gonna pick Emilio Renteria because we've all seen that man we've seen that man in his entirety, but we've especially seen that man from the waist down. And that dude has thighs big enough to just carry me on his shoulders so I can get my steps in without actually getting my steps in. So, yeah, that's my third.
I like it. For my third, I'm going to go with Steve Clark. And the reason why is we have seen that guy take steps while a full-grown professional soccer player was hanging onto his legs. So he definitely is going to be a great motivator. He'll be like, listen, if I can go 3 steps with an entire Drogba holding onto my thigh, you can put in your 10,000 steps a day.
Love it. I love it. All right, Brant, bringing up the rear here and possibly receiving the bulk.
I mean, the last pick has to be Kai Kamara.
God damn it, Brant.
Son of a
what
bitch.
the fuck is wrong with you?
You're not
Is it
even
just
giving
'cause
a reason.
He
Like,
says
he
he's so
said
good
that-
at walking from team to team.
So Brent said that, and then he muted his microphone, knowing that
Yeah.
she's like, I'm just going to troll you real time on the podcast.
And we took it hook, line, and
Yeah.
sinker.
I'm surprised he didn't actually just log out at that point.
Yeah.
So he still wanted to hear your reaction.
God damn it! I hate you. Okay, that was a fun one. I like this. This is my new favorite segment. Okay. Well, one of the literally last things we have to talk about this week is our awarding of man balls. Does anybody want to start? Does anybody
Make Brent go first as
Brent,
punishment.
Yeah, fuck you, Brent. You go first.
All right, are we still doing 2? I don't remember how we're doing this now.
Yeah, Brent. Why?
It's been a week. It's not
Why
like
would we have changed it suddenly?
How many balls
I
do
don't
you
know.
have
You
still,
changed
Brent?
everything else, and everybody is mad at you for changing it. So
Well, listen, it's almost like I told them if they didn't like the things we were doing, they could provide feedback. But we've received approximately 0 fucking emails. So,
Well, that's because they're all hate tweeting at us currently.
oh, what are they hate tweeting about?
They want us to read all the hot takes.
Oh well, they haven't been submitting any. So,
Well, their
because
argument,
you're not reading them all, John.
last
Apparently
week we
the
did
argument-
read them all.
yeah, the argument apparently is people just want to hear their names read. So if they're not getting read, they're not going to submit.
Interesting. Okay, well, we're not doing that right now. So, what's your man balls, Brent?
Oh, jeez. I'll give one to everybody that's actually staying home and doing their part to flatten the curve and not being a douche.
Okay, so you're not
Second
giving one to yourself. Interesting.
John, essential personnel aren't douches for going to work. We're essential.
I think that you can be essential and a douche.
I mean, you could, but I don't fit that grouping.
I don't know. You just said that your favorite coach would be Kai Kamara.
And the last man ball has to go to Kai Kamara.
God damn it, Brent. I fucking hate you so much. Kick him. How do I kick him out of Discord?
You really could.
For what, Brent? For what? Justify it.
Yeah.
Because he's Kai Kamara, there's no other justification needed.
Jesus Christ, Brent. I saw you post some Kai Kamara bullshit blowjobbery in the Slack yesterday, too, so I'm not surprised that you're still on this train. But, all right, Darby, do you want to go ahead and hand out your
When
2 man
other
balls?
people insult Kai, I will defend Kai.
Kai Kamara's a piece of shit, Brent.
Kai Kamara is one of the greatest strikers to ever play for the Columbus Crew Draps.
One of.
Well, yeah, we've had several.
I don't see
But
you
he is
sucking their
very,
dongs.
Very good. Other people don't trash them.
Well,
Doesn't that tell you
because-
something about their character?
yeah. Most strikers don't play for 15 teams in 16 seasons. All right, so
Still has the most goals per season of any of our strikers.
in his, season and a half? Do you know what a small sample size is, Brent? Oh, yes, you do. You've looked in your pants.
Oh my god. You can see the setup happening, but it was still just as satisfying when it landed.
Anyway, okay.
I don't see what a season and a half has to do with anything. I'm saying in a complete season, he scored more goals than any other striker did in a complete season.
Okay, Darby, stop participating in this bad faith argument and just move on with your man balls.
Okay. My first man ball, I'll give my first man ball to Jonathan Mensah. I haven't listened to that broadcast yet for the Hell is Real game, but I'm absolutely going to, predominantly because I'm interested in hearing his contributions to that. I think this is a really cool opportunity if they continue doing stuff like this to have fans get some insight that you just wouldn't get otherwise. And it's a really neat opportunity. I like that. Yeah, so first one goes to Mensa. My second one, I've totally thought about this. Why is it every damn week we come into this and I'm completely unprepared for what I'm going to say?
I don't know.
You're not unprepared. Just say my name and get it over with.
My second man ball goes to Brent Jones, the former tight end of the San Francisco 49ers. That one's for you, Chris Blaine.
Oh my God.
You misspoke. We'll go ahead and edit that out for you and fix.
No, we will not be editing that.
Brent,
first of all, we will not be editing anything. I will be, and I won't be editing that. So
Brent Jones.
Okay, that's great. We're just
I'll
rewarding
remind you
random
that my
football
last name
players.
is Miller.
I'm aware of what your stupid last name is.
Okay, I'm going to give my man balls now. Jesus Christ. Brent, you're allowed out of the house. You can drive over there and kill Darby if you're feeling that strongly about it.
Yeah,
I guess
do that.
All right. So somebody film that confrontation and put it on the internet. Thank you. Okay, one of my man balls is going to go to all the health workers who are kicking butt and out there risking their own health and safety doing things. But specifically, I'm going to call out someone from the ACES Slack. Her name's Janelle. She is a RN at OSU, and she posted yesterday saying that she unfortunately had to go through the testing process for COVID. So in addition to all that she's been doing at the hospital, she had to have a Q-tip jammed into her goddamn brain. So that sounds fun. But seriously, thank you to you, Janelle, and to everybody else for continuing to be just the real warriors and heroes of this crisis. And there's no words that can accurately express my gratitude, but here's a man ball. Hopefully that makes up for it. And then my other man ball is going to go to the crew, communications, and marketing staff, and everybody just in charge of and responsible for continuing to produce content and put content out and stay relevant and engaged with the fan base during this time. I know it can't be easy with everybody working separately from their own homes to coordinate and come up with just new creative ideas. So shout out to all those guys. I think you guys are doing a really good job, all things considered. So keep it up. And that concludes man balls for the week. Which, speaking of man balls, Darby.
Yes, John.
Are you aware that it is against the law to just reveal your man balls out in public wherever you feel like it?
Is it?
It certainly is. And I'm honestly kind of surprised that you don't already know that, because we've had multiple calls about it. So
I know people don't like it. I definitely have been told repeatedly that I should stop doing it, but I have not yet been arrested for it.
Well, that day is probably coming. And when it does, Darby, do you know who you can call?
Not you, because the last time I took my balls out and called you, you said never to do it again.
Yeah, I'm glad you remembered that warning. Please continue to abide by that rule. I do not want you to call me, but you can call the law office of Brian Jones. If you happen to be caught with your genitals out, say at a grocery store, perhaps a parking lot. I don't know where you go, Darby, but anywhere in between those places. If your balls are out and you get arrested, Brian Jones and his team can make sure that you've got the best criminal defense that money can buy, or that man balls can be exchanged for. So give them a call.
So he'll take my man balls in exchange for legal services?
Okay, maybe that was the wrong way to go with that. But no, please do not show up at the law office of Brian Jones with your balls out. I don't know how that would work out. I don't know if they would have to then take you to court and defend you at the same time. But They're offering free consultation, and I'm going to go ahead and throw out a phone number because it's on the website, and I feel like that would be more effective maybe than the URL for once. But the URL is thelawofficeofbrianjones.com. But if you want to talk to a real human being over the phone, which most people these days don't because we're all scared of social interactions, but if you do, there's a phone number that you can call, which is 740-363-3900. But, just keep your balls in your pants, and then maybe you don't need to meet Brian and his amazing team. It's probably for the best. Okay, so with that out of the way, we're not even going to do segments this week because there's not a whole lot left of the show. Darby, do you want to announce what's happening with Hot Takes?
Yeah, we're taking a bit of a break from the hot takes. In the past few weeks, the number of submissions have gone down, and even the number of votes have gone down. So we're gonna put that on pause for a while. And figure out, there's definitely a factor of there not being crew stuff to talk about. But so yeah, we're gonna save a little time here. We're gonna tighten up the show, shrink it down. You can have all of the hot takes that you want in life, and you can tweet them, and you can open up your front door and yell at people who are walking by. You could pick up the phone and not call the law offices of Brian Jones. Don't call and yell your hot takes at them. That would be wrong. But you can definitely pick up the phone and call Brent, because apparently he answers his phone.
Yeah, there you go. We'll tweet his phone number out after the show's over.
Yeah, and he doesn't have internet, so he's got nothing else to do. He's going to be watching an episode of The Office or be asleep. So
please don't
you
call
can
him at 2:15. He'll be in the middle of dinner then.
Right. So yeah, you can save up your hot takes. You can write them down so that you remember them for later. And yeah, but no hot takes this week. So keep on doing what you're doing, people.
Yeah. Okay. And probably no hot takes next week either until things start to pick back up. I mean, like I said earlier, if you guys have comments or criticisms about the show, things you miss, if you really don't like the new way hot takes are the new way that hot takes are going, shoot us an email and let us know when we'll discuss it and definitely take the feedback to heart. Because like I said, this show is about the community and building a community and having a place where people can be involved and active and interact with each other. So I think we're open to hearing things like that.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to do a Twitter poll or something, but if we can get a sense, the thing is, absent any sort of cohesive response from everyone out there, we don't know if the couple of people who want all of the hot takes read represent everyone, or if that's just a couple of voices. I mean,
right.
Do you want all the hot takes? Do you want some of the hot takes? Do you want none of the hot takes? Do you have an idea for something else to talk about? Because, if there's stuff you want to hear, even if it's just an idea for a crew superlative, give it to us. We're here. We'll talk about it, but it helps to have feedback from listeners to know what they're interested in.
Yeah, please. Whether it's criticisms of the changes to the show's content and format, or stuff to talk about, or kinks, segments that you want to either just submit or potentially come on and talk about yourself, shoot us some emails, because we haven't received anything, and that's fine. We don't have to get anything from you guys, but the more you guys are able to contribute, the more we'll have as far as content for the show, and the longer these episodes will be, because this is probably going to be our shortest episode potentially ever, and I don't necessarily see them extending in length anytime soon, just due to the situation. So the
also,
email what's that? Go ahead.
Also, if you signed up to get on the Slack, there's you join the general channel in there. That's also an opportunity to provide feedback as well.
Yeah, for sure. That is still something that you guys are welcome to get in on. Haven't gotten any new emails in a little while to join that, but it is definitely still an option if you guys want to chat. There is a good group of people in there that seem to post every little bit every day at least. So yeah, if you want to just join in for that, email is still acesradiopodcast@gmail.com. Regardless of what you want to say, that is where you're welcome to shoot it. You can keep adding us in Twitter, but it can get hard to make sure that we don't miss something on there, given that we're also all managing our personal Twitters and stuff like that. So,
Oh, I wouldn't say I'm managing my personal Twitter, John.
okay, well, it's another Twitter that you have to look at. So,
Whenever my brain shits a thought out, it just goes straight to the keyboard.
Ew, I don't know. My overactive imagination just thought of a machine that sits in your toilet, and when you actually take a shit, it composes a tweet for you and sends it.
I think that account is @RealDonaldTrump.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Is there anything else that we need to talk about, guys? Of course, if you guys want to leave us reviews, please do that. You know how that works. Wherever you get us from, put it there, and hopefully that'll help grow our listenership. We need to start checking in and seeing what new reviews are. Maybe we'll read them in the show. But otherwise, I think that if nobody has anything else to talk about, I think that brings us to the end of this week.
Yeah, I think Brent went to bed 15 minutes ago.
That's fine. No, I don't think anyone even really noticed. Bront, you still there? Are you masturbating to thoughts of Kai Kamara?
No, I'm sleeping through this.
Are you pooping to thoughts of Kai Kamara?
Are you doing anything to thoughts?
What did I just say? I'm sleeping.
You could be sleep
the last
pooping.
15 minutes of this.
Why do we even bring Brent on the show? I don't even know.
Well, basically, he took on your
role. Falls
role.
apart.
Yeah, like he's doing what you used to do in segment 3. He just completely checked out.
That's fair. Segment 3 is the worst. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging in there this week. Hopefully everybody's staying healthy and safe and at least partially sane. Yeah, so we will catch you all again next Thursday. Fuck Kai Kamara.
Wait, did you guys say you want to have sex with Kai Kamara?